In this video, I am going to be building the ultimate villager trading system that will include everything that I need to generate infinite emeralds. This will include building an overpowered villager trading hall and 5 different automatic farms to generate unlimited resources to trade with. Welcome to episode 2 of my hardcore Minecraft Let's Play. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first step for this project is going to be gathering the resources for the outer shell of the build. My tools aren't the best and this is going to take a lot of resources, so let's not waste any time and get straight to it. By the way, thank you to BlitzMoo for the viewer challenge of creating 5 different automatic farms. If you want your viewer challenge to be featured in a future episode, make sure to go down below and leave a comment. I have 2 stacks of sand so far, but I need over 100, and at this pace it's just going to take forever. So I think it would be a better idea to upgrade our gear first before we continue. I'll tell you right now, I am not excited to do this. I'm just trying to get in and out. Ooh, glow squid. Okay, luckily this cave goes down to deep slate level, so we should be able to find some diamonds. While I'm down here, it's also probably a good idea to get some redstone, as we're gonna need a lot for the farms later in the video. Could this be a dripstone cave? Interesting. First mined diamonds of the world. Oh my gosh! Please don't do that to me. Ooh, more diamonds. This is a really cool looking cave. Finally, here we go, another piece. And another one. Diamond vein number 3, or 4, or 5? I can't remember. Ouch. Alright, it's not a ton, but 6 diamonds should do the trick. And trust me, this is not going to be the last time that you see me caving in this episode. Oh hey villager. How did you get in here? Yeah, just leave the door open, won't you? So with 6 diamonds, I have just enough to make an enchanting table and then a few shovels or other tools. And ironically, I already have a lot of sugarcane. And we also have a lot of leather from the cow farm. Oh, wandering trader, what do you have for me today? Trash, great to hear. And you know what? I'm feeling nice today, so I'm gonna chain you up over here. Hopefully they lose their aggro at some point. But back to business. With the sugarcane and the leather, we can make a fully powered enchanting setup. And of course, we can't forget to craft the table. I have some obsidian from some ruined portals and the blacksmith from last episode, 2 diamonds, and a book. I have this little room up here on the top floor that is the perfect size actually for an enchanting setup. It's going to be a little bit cramped, but honestly that's fine. And if all goes to plan, that should give us fully powered enchants. Unbreaking. Unbreaking is good actually because we're gonna need to mine a lot of sand. What else do we have? That is literally the worst possible enchant that we could have gotten. Fortune 3 on the pickaxe, I will take that. Wow, that is incredible. Thank you, Minecraft gods. And on the shovel, I'm just going to put Unbreaking. Now, without further ado, let's get back to gathering. The first item on the list to gather was sand. Before leaving to go find a desert, I tamed a donkey and the 2 trader llamas for extra inventory space. I would say that the journey went smoothly, but there were a few hiccups. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, please don't do that. However, I eventually found a beach where I gathered as much sand as I could. After unloading the sand back home, I enchanted a new shovel. I then sailed back out to the beach and completed another round of digging. Once that was done, I returned to the river near my base and mined a few stacks of gravel to be used for concrete. And with that, the easy materials were done. Now, let me tell you about some orange-green lumpy ore that took literally all of my willpower to gather. Copper. When you first mine it, it comes in its raw form. That's fine. The problem is that each copper block requires 9 pieces of raw copper. I needed over 30 stacks of blocks. 32 to be exact. That meant that I had to mine enough ore to get 288 stacks of raw copper. I did have a fortune pickaxe, but still, that's a lot of ore to mine. Now, how did I find enough pieces of ore to get that many stacks? 2 words: dripstone caves. The special thing about dripstone caves is that they generate a larger amount of copper than other cave biomes. In the mining trip from earlier, I stumbled upon a fairly sizable dripstone cave that I returned to now to harvest copper. This one cave provided like 80% of the needed copper. The rest I gathered from nearby caves in the area. But in the end, I did it, mining more copper in one sitting than I have in my entire time playing Minecraft. There was just one problem. All of these materials need to be smelted. That's gonna take a while. But before we do that, I want to do a little bit of enchanting. Minecraft gods, please give us good enchants. Unbreaking 3 and efficiency 4. I think we go with the efficiency 4. Very solid. Unbreaking 3 and knockback 2. We're gonna go with the unbreaking 3 for sure. Protection 4, unbreaking 3. Awesome. Now to solve the smelting problem for the copper, we are going to be using blast furnaces to smelt it with lava buckets as the fuel. 10 should be enough. And then, I might regret this, but we're gonna use a full stack of iron to make 21 buckets. And for the sand, we're just gonna make 10 regular furnaces. Now for the lava buckets, as you've probably guessed, we are going to be going to the nether. I believe there's a lava pool somewhere around here. Right here, wonderful. Let's get our water out and, oh, I love that sound. I want to have easy access to the furnaces from the nether portal, so we're gonna put it right here. This one will be temporary as well. Perfect. And without much fanfare, let's head to the nether for the first time. Please don't be a basalt delta. This is one of the worst nether spawns I've ever had. Well, at least we have access to lava. Okay, time to get out of here. Let's load these up into the furnaces and start the smelting. It's now nighttime, which means that it is the perfect time to collect some white dye. And with this white dye, we can make exactly 6 stacks of white concrete. So after hours of work and resource gathering, we can finally place the first blocks of the build. We're actually going to go ahead and start with the villager breeder, as building it first will allow us to build up a stockpile of villagers. Now, to make the breeder actually function, we need some villagers. You might be wondering what food we're going to use to breed the villagers, and to that I say, potatoes. I have a lot of potatoes. Wow, they slurped those up. Already we got some babies. Let's see if we can see one go down the chute. There we go. It's working already. There was supposed to be live commentary right now, but I accidentally muted my mic, so unfortunately, you're stuck with me. Post-recording GlitchNOut. Okay, so to start off, I built a villager trade picker and curing station that's ugly but functional. As a first test for the trade picker, I grabbed a villager and re-rolled its trades until I got mending. I then immediately used a bunch of sugarcane to get emeralds and bought one book, which I put on my pickaxe. To make use of the mending, I simply mined the copper furnaces, which give a weirdly large amount of XP. Before I could test the curing station, I needed to get blaze rods so that I could brew weakness potions. So it was off to the nether. Honestly, I'm glad that my mic was off while I was searching, because I was starting to get a little bit annoyed. I found 3 different bastions over the course of an hour without seeing a single fortress. However, I did eventually find one and immediately headed inside. I spent some time looting the chests and got some pretty good loot. I wanted to put off my next nether trip for as long as possible, so I gathered over a stack of blaze rods. Once that was done, I dug a long tunnel back to the portal to give me easy access to the fortress for when I would eventually have to come back. Upon returning home, I brewed fire resistance and weakness potions. Next, I zombified the mending villager and then cured him. The last thing that I did before realizing my mic was off was to build the stalls that would become the villagers' future homes. You're all caught up now, so let's get back to the video and finally build the outer shell. Finally, the smelting is complete. It doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, this took over 50 days to smelt in-game. And of course, we have a ton of glass, but to give a quick visualization of how much smelting this took, look at how dry the basalt delta is. If you compare this to the beginning of the episode, you can see just how much smelting this took. But now that the resources are collected, I am excited to say that we can finally start building the outer shell. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. The outer shell is almost completed, and all we have left to do is place a sticky piston and a slime block to make the entrance into the main part of the build. The problem is I don't have any slime, so I thought it would be a good idea to kill two birds with one stone and mine out a slime chunk to both get stone and potentially some slime spawns. According to an app called Chunkbase, these three chunks right here, the ones that I have the oak blocks in, are slime chunks. So we're going to go ahead and dig down to below Y level 40 and then just start digging. And if all goes to plan, the area that we dig out should spawn some slimes. Oh, and by the way, I did enchant a silk touch pickaxe, which should make the process of getting smooth stone much easier. Okay, we're at the height where slime chunks should start spawning slimes. So all we have to do is dig out a 3-block tall room in the chunk and hope for the best. Now all we have to do is set up a quick AFK spot in the back here. This is a really far drop. And wait here to see if some slime spawn. Okay, I'm going to try a slightly different method of AFKing by building up really high in the world instead of staying by the farm. Now all we have to do is wait for a minute or two and then head back down. Hopefully this time it'll work. Try number 2. I hear something. There we go. First slime, and it's a big one. That is potentially a lot of slime balls. 18. Alright, that's more than enough. We're going to place 4 pieces of redstone like this, a sticky piston, obsidian on top of the redstone, and just like that, we are done. Oh, well, we need a few buttons as well. But with that, we have a system that will push a slime block that we can stand on and launch ourselves into the main part of the build. So now, almost 100 days into the project, we can finally start building the farms. And first up, we have the iron farm. These are all of the materials that we're going to need, other than the building blocks, which are going to be smooth stone, and we're once again going to be using our furnace array here to smelt the stone. I'm starting to rethink my choice about not building a super smelter in this episode. Step number 1 of this build is going to be making the trough that the iron golems are going to fall into when they're spawned in by the villagers. That was very close to death. Then we need a few walls, some fence gates, and a place to funnel the golems to their eventual demise. Once that's done, we're going to put the water into the edges and down below. Next up, we have to build these zombie and villager stations. This is the zombie station, and these are the villager stations. Honestly, call to action. If you haven't built an iron farm in your world, you definitely should. This is all that you need to make a functioning iron farm. Let's mirror this to the other side. The last step for the building portion of the farm is going to be creating the killing chamber and the place where the loot is going to drop. So I'm thinking all we have to do is create a little bit of a chute going downwards, and then create a very small tunnel that will drop the items onto that oak block And then from there, the items will just get distributed into the storage system. Back in the killing chamber, we're going to place some signs in that will keep the lava from dripping down onto the items. Said lava will be placed here. We'll put one more sign here, and then put the water right here. Let's give it a quick test, put some blocks into here, and they should drop right onto that oak block. There we go. Oh, that is a problem. I forgot that fence gates were flammable. Luckily, it's a pretty easy fix. All we need to do is replace the fence gates down here with signs. Okay, the real last thing that we need to do is set up a small storage system. Now it's villager and zombie time. Please pray for me. Beautiful iron rolling into our storage system. Before we start the next farm, I want to get a few more villagers, and those are going to be a armorsmith, a toolsmith, and a weaponsmith. Now let's get these villagers into their stalls and start trading. To start, we'll level this guy up real quick, and upon leveling up, he will give us the iron trade. We can just spam that. Let's do the same for the others. And with that, we have a super easy, infinite source of emeralds. And to make things even better, we can use the armor to finally get diamond armor. So without further ado, let's buy ourselves a full set of diamond gear for the cheap price of 3 emeralds. That feels so good. This is also a great time to do a enchanting marathon. Feather falling, here we come. You know, an episode is starting to get a little bit over the top when getting pretty much max gear is just a byproduct of completing the main project. And the next step of said big project is going to be a crop farm, and more specifically, a automatic villager crop farm. Let's get started. Step 1, gather resources. Step 2, block up. Step 3, make the floor. Step 4, add walls. Step 5, water. Step 6, composter. Step 7, farmify. Is that a word? Step 8, duplicate. Step 9, redstone. Step 10, add villagers. Step 11, multiply by 3. And that is the villager crop farm complete. However, before we start work on the third farm, there's something important I need to do. Without further ado, it is naming time. For our cat, we have Jerry. Thank you to Grace for the name suggestion. And for our horse, we have Sloopert. Thank you to Big Royson for the suggestion. If you want the chance to name one of my animals, make sure to go down below and leave your name suggestions for my donkey and the 3 trader llamas. Oh, and it looks like we have the potential for 2 more. Good sir, what do you have for us today? I will actually buy that. For that, I will not kill you. I will be placing you in a boat and giving you the chance to despawn. Oh, it looks like he already despawned. That was quick. Moving on, the third farm that we're going to be constructing is a pumpkin and melon farm. These are some of my favorite because they're super efficient and pretty easy to make. I am going to need a lot of resources for this farm, so let's hop into a quick 10-second resource gathering montage, starting now. We're going to start off by creating the minecart collection system for the farm. The rest of this farm is pretty much just rinse and repeat. All you need to do is place dirt, till the dirt, place a few seeds down, and then place observers facing down into the seeds, pistons facing in the other direction, and redstone on top of the observers. Let's use some quick editing magic to duplicate this slice across the entire farm, and then add some walls to make sure none of the drops fall out the sides. The last two steps in building the farm are putting the hopper minecarts in and creating the collection system. So there we go, 3 out of 5 farms are now done, 2 more to go. I decided to gather the materials for the next 2 farms in the same session as I was feeling productive. This means that this is the last of the resource collecting that you'll see in this video. To the viewers out there who love watching resource gathering, I apologize. But anyways, it's time to start construction on a sugarcane farm. To start off, we'll place in the floor of the farm, which is going to be very close to the heads of the villagers in the breeder. I don't think it should be a problem. These stairs behind the pieces of dirt will be waterlogged, and the pieces of dirt themselves will be where the sugarcane are planted. 2 blocks above the stairs will be the pistons. Behind the pistons will be a line of blocks with redstone on top of them, and then alternating each block will be an observer. Then we'll place a wall around the sugarcane to make sure that none of it spills out. To finish the cell, all we have to do is place a water source here and a sign right here. The next 9 cells are going to be the exact same, so let's hop into a tiny time lapse and finish them off. I have to say, out of all the farms we've built so far, this one is definitely the most aesthetic. As you can probably see, there is one more area left for the final farm, and that final farm is going to be a sheep farm, which might seem like a little bit of an odd choice at first, but trust me, if you can get the prices down on the shepherd's wool trades, it becomes super overpowered. We've built a lot of farms in this video, and to be honest, the building portion of this particular farm is not that important. So let's get through it real quick. This is one cell of the farm. This is one layer of the farm. There will be 3 of them. And here is the redstone portion of the farm. There will be one of these on each layer, and its purpose is to collect the drops from the farm and then dispense them into a tunnel that will carry them to the storage system. Now, as I said, the important part of building this farm is not the actual construction. It's how we're going to get the sheep from here, in this crowded pen, all the way into the cells of the farm. Luckily, I have a plan. First, we're going to breed all of the animals in this pen. Then we'll go ahead and remove all of the adult cows from the pen. And once that's done, we have 2 options. We could open the fence gate and bring a few sheep out of the farm the normal way, or we could use the much more efficient, superior method of fishing them out of the pen. Let me demonstrate. Come to me. Sure, the success rate is a lot lower, but this is just a lot more interesting. But we're not done yet. We still have to get the sheep into the farm. Oh, we've lost a few. That's unfortunate. Who wants to be my first test subject? Wonderful. Don't worry, this will be incredibly interesting for you. That actually worked? I mean, of course it worked. It was a flawless plan. Well, number 1, why don't you just go straight down? Number 3, down you go. Number 4, have a nice trip. Oh, that was the wrong hole. Don't worry, number 4.5, it's completely safe. Number 5, right this way, for a 100% success rate. Yep, 100. Okay, now that I've demonstrated my flawless plan, it's time to finish the last 2 layers of this farm and finally complete this project. You know what to do, editing GlitchNOut. So there we have it, the ultimate villager trading system built in Minecraft Hardcore. This build took over 150 in-game days, and I'd say it was worth it. We now have the perfect foundation to complete bigger and better projects in the future, and trust me, there are going to be some pretty big ones coming up in the next few episodes. The only thing left to do is to add the villagers into their stalls, but unfortunately we're running a little bit low on video time, so I'm actually going to do a live stream of me getting all of the villagers in after this video is posted. The details for that live stream will be both in the description and the comments down below. But without further ado, it's time to end the episode. Make sure to leave your llama and donkey name suggestions in the comments below, and while you're down there, consider leaving a like and subscribing. But with that, this has been GlitchNOut. Goodbye everyone.